guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome sis. My name is Yap, and as you guys could see by that title, I'll be doing this really cute pop of color client makeup tutorial. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, but before we hop into it, you already know what to do. Like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what other videos you guys want to see. I posted on my Instagram to let me know what kinds of videos you guys want to see. You guys asked for a little bit more color, so I'm here with a colorful look today, and I hope you guys really enjoy it. So let's get started. So I always start off with brows, and the first thing that I'm going to do is take some hair gel on a mascara wand, and I'm just going to work the hair gel into her brows and then carve it in the shape that I want it to be in, as you guys can see. And then I'm going to go in with an eyebrow pencil and just carve out her brows and then use hair-like strokes to fill them in. Now I have a very detailed eyebrow tutorial on my channel, so if you guys want to see how I achieve this in depth on my client, you guys could go check that out. But I basically use hair gel because it allows me to really get the desired shape of my choice, and it also helps me to get a very clean eyebrow even if my client's brows aren't done, because sometimes you have the extra hair sticking out, so the hair gel just keeps all those hairs down and in place, and it allows me to have a nice clean canvas. And now I'm just going to conceal her brows, and I'm using the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer on a concealer brush that I got from AliExpress. And all the products that I use will be down in my description box below, and I listed it in order so you guys know exactly what I'm using at what time. But I'm just taking that concealer, like I said, and just carving out her brows. I feel like the key to a really fleeky brow is the brush that you're using, and I highly recommend the flat brushes that have like the oval shape to it, because the brush does most of the work for you instead of you doing most of the work. Because it has that oval shape, it allows you to just glide right down on the brows. So definitely recommend those type of brushes when doing brows. And yeah, I'm just taking concealer and just carving out the brows, making sure that it is to my liking. And then I took a brush and blended that out, and this was the finished product. Like I said, I have a very in-depth tutorial on my channel, so if you want to see everything that I do, you can click that, because I wasn't like gonna put this in the video at first, but I just decided to throw it in there. But now we're on to the eyes, so I'm just gonna prime her eyes using the Plouise Rumour Zero eyeshadow base, and this is a white base because I really want the eyeshadow that I'm using to pop a lot. And then I'm going to buff that into place using my blending PERFECTOR brush from e.l.f. Just making sure to use patting motion so that I don't get any patchiness when I apply the eyeshadow. So I'm going to take the Morphe M433 brush, and I'm going to use this nice brown eyeshadow from the Jaclyn Hill Volume 2 palette. And I'm just going to pack that color on, making sure that I get a nice color payoff from this brown eyeshadow. And then I'm going to blend it out slightly. I'm just really focusing on packing the color on so that the brown is really prominent. This is the only color I'm going to use as like the background color before I apply the lid color. And so I really want this brown to stand out. So I'm making sure to pack that on and slightly tug at the edges so that it's easier to blend out in the next step. So now I'm taking some translucent powder on the Morphe M505 brush, and I'm just going to use that to further blend out the edges of the brown eyeshadow and to also set underneath the brows a little bit because it was a little wet. And I'm just going to go back and forth between those two brushes to make sure that the brown is exactly the way I want it to be. And now I'm going to take some primer, and this is the Plouise Acid Rain Blank Canvas Paint, and I'm using this to prime her eyes for the yellow eyeshadow that I'm going to apply. And I was going for like a soft cut crease type of look, so I just applied a little bit of that to her eyelid, and then I'm using that same brush that we used to blend out the primer in the beginning and just buffing that out. And then I'm going to further blend out those harsh lines with the same Morphe M433 brush. So now I'm taking this yellow eyeshadow from the Plain and Makeup by Yolondo Jamrock palette on a flat eyeshadow brush from BH Cosmetics, and I'm just going to tap that product on her lid. And when you're working with matte eyeshadows, it's best that you tap and not swipe, because that will help you prevent the eyeshadows from being patchy. And I'm also going to apply a little bit of white to her inner quarter to make it pop a little bit, and I'm going to apply a nice shimmery pigment on top of that to also make it pop. So after I do that, I'm going to highlight the brow bone a little bit using the Ofra Cosmetics Star Island highlighter, just because I like that extra pop on the brow bone. I feel like it makes the brows look even sharper. And now I'm going to clean up her eyeshadow look with a little bit of concealer. And I do this because it just makes the face look a little more lifted, since it's going in like an upward motion to her temple, and it just cleans up the eyeshadow a lot. And now I'm just blending it out. So I felt like a wing would go really nice with this look. So I'm going to take some black liquid liner, and this is from the Sephora collection. It's their waterproof black liquid liner. And I'm just going to outline the wing first and then fill it in. That's usually how I do my wings on my clients. And if you guys want an in-depth tutorial, I will give you guys one. Just let me know in the comment section below. And then after I fill that in, I'm going to go in with the Suva Beauty white hydra liners, but to apply that I'm going to use the NYX vivid liner brush because I like how precise that is, and I just go right on top of the black, and that's how I do like the double liner look. But once again, if you guys want an in-depth tutorial, please let me know down in the comment section below. So I applied her lashes off camera, and there'll be a link to those down in the description box below. But after the eyes, we move on to the face. So to moisturize her skin, I use this moisturizer, and as the primer, I use the Milk Hydro Grip because it will allow the makeup to last all day. She has dry skin, so that's my favorite combo for all my clients with dry skin. And now we're moving on to the foundation. So I'm just taking this foundation combo that I mixed. Details will be down in my description box along with all the other products I used. And I just used a lipstick applicator to spread the foundation first, and then I buff the foundation and blend it into place. And I like to do this because the lipstick applicator allows me to have a nice full coverage, even spread of foundation all over her face. But because I'm using a lipstick applicator, it only allows me to pick up so much, so it gives me a nice full coverage spread, but it feels really light on the skin, which is what I really love. So to blend out the foundation, I'm using the Real Techniques INSTAPOP cheek brush, and I'm making sure to use patting and buffing motions, and I'm also making sure to blend the foundation down her neck to make sure that everything looks like one. Now when I do foundation, I always ask my client what part of their body is going to be exposed, and depending on their answer, that's where I match the foundation to, because a lot of people's bodies aren't like one exact skin color. Sometimes their face is darker than their hands or their neck, vice versa. Sometimes their arms are darker than everything else. So I don't want them to look crazy, and if their neck isn't going to be exposed, match the foundation to their neck when their arms are way darker than their neck. So I just match it to whatever part of the body is going to be exposed, and that usually works out great for me. So that's just my little trick to doing foundations and how to properly match it to their skin, because your skin is not always one color. Usually people have hyperpigmentation because we're human, and that's just a human trait. So yeah, just wanted to throw that out there. So now I'm going to highlight her face, and I'm applying the concealer with a brush for the exact same reason that I apply foundation with a lipstick applicator. It gives me a full coverage spread, but it feels really light on the skin. And I started off using the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer, but I really feel like the under the eyes is very important, and that needs to be concealed the most. So I wanted to use a little more heavy duty concealer. So I mixed the Kevyn Aucoin Skin Enhancer with the Tarte Shape Tape in the shade Light. And I could have used the Kevyn Aucoin alone, but it wasn't her shade. So I had to mix it with a lighter concealer in order to get her perfect highlighting shade. And even still, I felt like it wasn't light enough. So I just slightly added a little bit of the Tarte Shape Tape in the shade Light in the inner parts of her face, just to make sure that her face is highlighted enough, because we want depth and dimension. So to contour her face, I'm using the Maybelline Superstay Foundation Stick in Warm Coconut. I really like these foundation sticks. They work really well and blend out really nicely. And I'm just putting that in the perimeters of her face. And then I'm going to use the foundation brush that we use to blend out the foundation. And I'm just going to blend out the contour, kind of blending it upwards because I want the face to look really snatched and lifted. And I'm also blending that into the highlight so that you can't really tell where one starts and where the other one stops and vice versa. Basically getting rid of any harsh lines. So after I blend out the contour, I'm now going to blend out the highlight using the Original Beauty blender. And I let the highlight sit for a little bit because I feel like when the concealer gets tacky, it's more full coverage and it blends out better. I'm assuming because it's a little thicker, that's why it has that effect. But I just think that it gives way better results when you let it sit than when you blend it out immediately. To each its own though, it's different for every makeup artist, but this is just personally what I like to do. And I like using the beauty blender because I also feel like it gives me flawless results over using a brush sometimes. So yeah, that's usually what I like to do. And I make sure to be really delicate when blending out the concealer under the eyes because you don't want to like poke your client in the eye or anything. And I also like to use the foundation brush that we use to blend out the contour to also go over the lines where the highlight starts and where the contour stops to make sure that you can't really tell that those lines are there. Basically to get rid of those lines. So to set the highlighted areas of her face, I'm using some setting powder, and this is the Sasha Cosmetics Light setting powder, and I'm also using an eyeshadow brush, but I'm setting the places that crease the fastest first and the places where I want a really precise application, which is usually the bridge of the nose and in between the brows and a little bit on the forehead. And then after I do that, I go in with a regular beauty sponge, or makeup sponge I should say, and I use the ones that's latex free because I feel like they pick up more powder and they just are better in my opinion. I also set underneath the cheekbone or underneath where I contoured because I want the contour to look really sharp when I wipe that powder away, kind of reverse contouring in a sense. So now I'm just going to set the remaining areas of her face with whatever setting powder remains in my hand, because I find that when I go in with bronzer or powder contour before I set it, it gets a little patchy. So I just make sure to set the face first. And now I'm going to wipe away some of the powder, but I wipe away the powder in order because I want some parts of the face to be more set than others. So I wipe away the powder on the nose and the forehead first and above the lip. And then I'll go in with some bronzer while the rest of the powder on the face continues to bake. And this is the Morphe Glamour Bronze in Trailblazer. I really love the Glamour Bronze collection. They have really nice colors and I like the quality of the bronzers. And now I'm going to wipe away the remaining powder on her face. So to contour the nose, I'm going to apply some bronzer on a Morphe M505 brush. I'm not the biggest fan of like really heavy nose contours unless my clients ask for it. And now I'm going to apply some blush, and I'm going to use the Juvia's Place Volume 1 blush palette in the shade Toby. And I like to apply blush on the nose too because I feel like it gives a really nice effect. After that, I'm going to apply some highlight on a Morphe M441 brush, and I use the Ofra Cosmetics Star Island highlighter. I also use the Fenty Beauty Diamond Balm right on top of that because I feel like it gives a nice shimmer. After that, I'm going to apply some eyeliner to her waterline, and then I'm going to also apply some mascara. Now I'm going to apply some lip liner, and this is from One and Only. It's in the shade Muted Brown. It's a beauty supply store brand, but this is my favorite lip liner because it really glides on very, very easily, and it also lasts for a really, really long time, and it's also pretty cheap. So, you know, 3 strikes for the win. And then I'm going to apply a nice beige, not beige, nudish pink lip lacquer, and this is from Maybelline. And I'm also going to apply some of that Plouise Acid Rain paint in the center of that too, and top it off with some clear lip gloss. This is like my ultimate fave time lip combo that I do on almost everybody because I just feel like it looks really, really good. And after that, I'm gonna apply some glitter underneath her eye. You don't really need to. You can honestly finish the look with this right here. This looks so pretty, but I'm so extra. So what I do is I apply some lash glue first, and this is the I Envy by Kiss lash glue. And then I take some glitter liner and use that to apply the glitter. I'm using actual glitter, but I'm just applying it with a glitter liner because I feel like it picks up the glitter really well, and it allows me to have a nice precise application. Now to set the face, I like to spray setting spray into a beauty sponge and then pounce that all over the skin because we just put on several layers of makeup, so I want to set all those layers. And it also takes away from any powderiness or cakiness that your client may look like they have. And then I spray it with dewy setting spray to give the skin a more skin-like finish. And this is the final look. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Let me know what other videos you guys want to see next. Follow me on all my socials. They will be down in the description box below, and I'll talk to you guys in next week's video. Bye.